That's right. Call this meeting of the Brown County Commission to order. Commissioner Feldheim, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning. First on the agenda, 8:45, we've got Paul Stevenson, CIO, jail phones, and an IT update. How's it going?
Good. How's it going with you guys?
Wonderful.
And I emailed you the stuff from CTEL because it was 100-some pages. So I brought one copy up.
We read everyone.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
Everyone.
Studied it. How about I give you a quick summary? So.
That'd be nice.
A little refresher for us.
What this is we've been going through with the new jail project. We have the Securus phones, the inmate phones now, and we're going to go to with video visitation, which the sheriff will limit in-person visitations to whatever they determine are the needs, and then everything else will be video, whether they come here or they can do it via the web from home or whatever, as long as, there's a pretty stringent guidelines and outlines. You got to be someone that they can actually talk to before they'll get in there, but the way it works is it's per minute. Same with the phones, the video visitation is the same way. So if they're not at this facility, if they're from out of town or at home or someplace like that, they're going to get charged so much a minute for the visitation. Now, the way this one is structured in most of them is county's not paying anything as far as writing a check for anything. They'll supply all the equipment and do all the training and everything, and then it's about 1.5 to 2 year payback at what we're doing now, but with the video I think it's going to cut that in half before we start getting our commissions off of it. So we're not laying out the cash. It's not free, but we're not laying out any money for it. It's coming off the commissions we would be getting from the minutes as we go. Once we've hit that threshold, I think it's $28,000 for all the kiosks and such, then we'll start getting our commission, which is I think at 47% on that. So it's a little complicated. It's nice we're not laying out cash, but it's not exactly free. I want to make sure everybody understood.
It's like a 2-year lease, and after the lease, then we start
making money on it. Yeah. Otherwise, if we wrote the $28,000 check, then we'd start getting commission right away. So, we have that option also. But I assumed with this jail project,
I like free.
It's just easier to keep track of than because they get a check every month from Securus, I think. I don't know how much it is. The nice thing about CTEL with all the ones we looked at is they do interface with our Swanson, which is the commissary for the inmates. Where they pay for their phone time and their whatever the little things they get out of the commissary. And also they have an interface to Spillman, which is our jail management, our big CAD program. So they've already got that done out of all of them. They've had the best around package and the best commission rates. Now
do they have a fee that's set to where they break even before we go into the commission? In other words, could it take longer if we don't?
There'll be a set fee when the contract comes out, set dollar amount, and then we'll be able to see every month how far out we are. The other side of it is on all of them, no matter what, there's a challenge with the FCC trying to lower the. Oh yeah, you guys should just keep this too. Their FCC is trying to get a lower fee, but it's tied up in court, so it could be a year, it could be 2 years, could be never, So and then that'll just change the fee structure, is what that'll do. So, but yeah, I'll leave that up, and if anyone wants to see it, that was the one copy they left when we did our demos. So
was there quite a few other companies that provide that service, or is it
we
limited?
look at Reliance phones. They're not up on the video visitation yet. We thought it would be between the two, but with their video visitation just in the infancy stage, we kind of backed away from that.
Is anybody else in the state using this?
That one, I don't believe so. I think we're the first in the state. There's some in Minnesota. I think in that email they had some references on there.
Yeah.
And if you want those separate, I can pull those out and just email you those. And we talked to Securus, the company we currently have the phones with, and in 3 months they have never got back with even a visit or a quote or anything. So we took that as they weren't interested.
Securus, does that company?
Yeah, that's who we have now, currently, for the
So
phones.
the maintenance, do they provide maintenance, or is that up to the IT
Nope,
department?
that's all them.
They-
It's all IP based, basically, we give them a network and,
Okay.
you know, and if someone go down and need something swapped out, of course, it'll be their hands here before they send somebody, but, other than that, it's all pretty much self-contained.
I can't remember from the plan, is there two, how many stations are there? where
There'll be
they-
2 downstairs for the public. Then there'll be 1 in each cell block for the prisoners, and 1 in JDC. And JDC has some different rules, but I think the revenue's gonna come a little stronger on that because of siblings and grandparents who don't normally come visit them in JDC. Will have that option through the web, and it's not extremely expensive, but everyone we've talked to that's got the video visitation says, on the other side of it is visitation be 7 days a week instead of just on Saturdays and Sundays, because they don't have to schedule moving prisoners around and schedule all that stuff, and we have limited space as it is now. Plus, we won't be taking anybody in the cell blocks like we are currently. So, but most people that have video visitation already say nobody comes to visit there anymore. Most people don't want to come to a jail unless they have to, so I don't know why. It's a nice place.
Yeah, right.
But I guess it's all we need is we're looking just if the commission agrees and you don't have to do it today to proceed forward with this, because we're cabling today, but regardless we got a cable for whatever we do. But thought I'd kind of bring it up, see if you had any questions on it, and the groups kind of looked it over, and this is the one that everyone feels is the right one between the jailers and the sheriff and everyone else involved.
47% doesn't seem too bad.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what they charge per minute?
I do not.
Is it in there?
It might be in there. I know it's in the email one. See, they have different rates. You can go ahead and buy calling cards from them, and the rate's different, and we get a percentage. Then we get so many of those free, like $2,000 worth free, and then we get a percentage for handling them in our commissary. And
I didn't see any numbers that I come across.
yeah, I think that was all in that larger email proposal in it. This is more of just his presentation, but it kind of outlines it pretty well.
How's the money collected? Credit cards? Or
Yeah, they collect it all and then they just send it to us.
all the money's collected from the other end? From
More or less, yeah.
who's doing the
Because they do most of it online.
The prisoners themselves.
It's mainly families putting money in so they can use the phone or just get a candy bar at the commissary or whatever it is. So
How does that work? Is that privileged? That doesn't get recorded? Are they allowed their privacy on those calls,
No.
or is it all recorded?
that's all recorded.
It
It's all
is, okay.
monitored. So
Good to know.
Only,
Rachel.
yeah, right. Only when they're with their attorney, then they're.
other than with the legal counsel, there's no expectation of privacy in a jail. None at all. Because otherwise, then you'll run into inappropriate things,
Yeah.
or and that's another thing. Is the last thing you want is them to be able to call a victim if they're in jail. So that's why it's locked down so tight, and everything's got to be approved before it happens. So I think Larry would get upset if we let him call
I can
victims.
see I have this on here.
Okay.
Do you want to do that scary or something?
Yeah.
So
Does anybody else have questions or anything?
Yeah, I don't see the rates on here.
How do you know who they're calling? How do you know they're not calling the victim?
see that all
It's
that's all
locked
locked down and within the system.
Check
You have to
the
get approved.
database.
Like if your son was in there and you want a video visit, you'd have to fill out the application and get approved before you can even get that link.
I see.
So it's not like they can just randomly go on the web and pick somebody.
I see.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of safeguards built into these programs.
So then that application goes to our staff and they go through everything. I mean, or is it
It'll
a
probably go
third
to the
party?
sheriff or who's ever in charge of the jail, the
Okay.
jail deputy or whatever. And then I imagine some of it will go to your office if it needs to.
They'll probably ask some questions.
Yeah. So it's kind of we just don't want to cross a line that we shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you say something, Nancy?
Well, it says in here that, the attorney and other investigators can search for a call record, listen to a call, save call recordings, and burn recordings to a CD for future use.
Same with our video. I mean, it's just no expectation of privacy unless they're with their attorney.
Maybe you already said this. New rate caps at 22 cents per minute for local, intra, and calls.
That's in federal court, so I'm looking for that to be a year or so before they even get to that case. That's kind of the feeling across the industry anyway.
Sure.
That's not a wheel that turns really fast.
Any other questions, comments, motions?
We need a motion to approve that one, do
I
we?
think so.
I guess I would move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion by Fishback, second by Hanson. Is there any other discussions or questions on that proposal? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We'll move forward, we'll get the official proposal and contract, and then I would imagine you want to review that before we
Sounds
make
great.
that final, before you guys sign it, you know.
So what else is going on in your world?
What's
A little
not?
update here.
We did, we went live with Sundial this last pay period with everything in the sheriff's office, the jail, JDC, sheriff's office deputies, also dispatch and IT. So it's the first pay period, and we'll see how Andrea shuffles through. Had a little, it's new shock, but it went fairly well. I mean, there was a lot of pre-final day jitters that were self-inflicted, but we got through them, and I think, you know, there's a few little bugs we're going to change in it, you know, and then other things are just going to move forward. But we're going to get through one more pay period with that group, and then if everything goes well, then we'll start pushing to another group of offices and slowly add them in until we get it going. I do have a couple questions.
Before the questions, for those of us that are new prior to this being approved to go ahead and do it, we are saving, was it $3,000? What was the sheriff's?
Sheriff, just on the justice system, we're saving $3,000 in support.
A year?
A year.
Okay.
Yeah, this came about because in the payroll, in the HR payroll department, I mean, there's a different form coming from every department on payroll. And the consensus, I think it was Nancy and Dwayne and Tom were probably the only ones on that commission. But to get something standard across the county, just to simplify things, and you know, so we pushed forward, and we've learned a lot. I guess I didn't realize how many little intricate pieces of payroll we had at the county, but there's a lot of them, and they all seem to pop up at different times. But I think we're through with the big bulk of them with this group. That's the big bulk of all the little discretionaries and things like that, you know, overtimes and holidays and working holidays. So that's kind of why we started with the big group first and head off the big problems right away. The only one that we really have to work on yet is highway and landfill, when we do the fob interface, so they can just swipe a fob, because most of them don't see a computer.
Right.
Then that'll be, and we're going to start on that now that we've got this first payroll. Once Andrea says we're good to go for this payroll, we're going to start on that. So, and I know she was out this morning for a doctor's appointment, so. But as of last night, everything looked good. So.
Were other departments having to pay for their payroll, or is that the only one, and now we're just kind of doing it uniform?
Everyone else is using basically some sort of spreadsheet or
Okay.
something. I mean, we have it in, I think, all 4 offices up here, the fair office, welfare office, and it's still in the test mode, you know, so everyone's touched it already.
Okay.
You know, it's just a matter of we're ready to go live.
How do you balancing out what you've done with Sundial versus what the old payroll is? How you
They work.
cross-checking them? Is Andrea doing the...
Andrew's doing all that, and no matter what timekeeping program we use, you know, how we do it, the final say always comes from the in-code payroll. I mean, as far as vacation balances and everything else, but, you know, we have, and that's what the test we've been doing for the last few months. They've been running both sets, so, and then comparing them at the end, just kind of, I mean, the bulk of the people here are writing in their time at the end of the day, so, you know, prior to Sundial. So, and I think highways don't use the time clock anymore. Landfill might in this job.
So they do in the office too.
In this office?
No, at the landfill office.
Do they? Okay. So, but other than that, so that's kind of where we're at. There's a question that came up from the auditor's office and others on, you know, they work, right now is a good day to kind of go through this. They work for the auditor's office, then right now some of them are doing elections, which is a different budget. I don't think it just comes in one check, but it comes out of different budgets, right?
Correct.
And then, we throw the fair in there, then we either work for highway in the wintertime. And I think the solution we came up with in talking to Derek at the fair, this is how he would think. It's a policy decision that you guys will have to make. I'd like them to just have a login, for the auditor's office or the, whatever office they generally work for, then have a secondary for like when they work for the fair. That way they can code into the fair and it'll separate those hours right there in Sundial.
That's probably easier than doing it by hand
Yeah.
after the fact, huh?
Yes, and Derek's a black and white facts guy, so he wants to see the numbers so he can manage his budget on all this, additional help he gets during the fair, but it's all, hours billed to the fair budget, so he kind of wants to get a handle on that and get management, and I guess that's a good idea, so, if that's what you guys decide we should do, that's the way we'll proceed forward with it, but it kind of made the most logical sense. Most of them are doing it just manually now. Well, I work this many hours for the fair and this many hours for whatever office they're in,
And you'll just set that up as a code then for each.
yeah, they'll just
department.
basically, during the fair, if they're going to work the fair, they'll have a separate login so they can do it from whatever computer that these are the, I'm at the fair now, or,
Or do it before they leave so the road
before
time
they
goes
leave,
on.
or, out there, whichever way,
Like today, Kathy got here at 6 and rest at 7. So they're going to be on the elections budget from that check-in time until 8. 8 to 5 auditor, and then the overtime is...
Tonight would be elections.
Is the elections. Are they
Yeah.
going to have to punch in and out?
They would just have to code in that they're going to elections on those times and audit at the other times. I think it'll take less time than figuring it out manually.
No, but that's okay.
It's pretty easy click. So, I guess,
Okay, any other questions on that?
like I said, that's, a policy decision you guys will have to just make that decision. We'll go forward with whichever way. Or if we
Is
want
your
an alternate
concern it's more than
plan.
a click? Is it not simple?
Well,
Once we get it
I just don't know
trained?
how it's tied with the payroll program, but that's
Yeah, and
that's Andrew's.
that's Andrew's working on that,
As long as
so.
you do her year end, then you just let her worry about it, right?
Yeah.
So,
And Sundial was created, it's a Brown County product.
wrote it from scratch,
We
yeah.
own it,
yep.
okay.
The reason being was all these little discretionaries and stuff. It's just, there's a lot of little intricate pieces to payroll here that, like I said, before we started this project, I didn't realize how many different things were going on. But I mean, and they make sense once you know what they are. First time, wow, that's a lot of necessary stuff, but it really is once you get into the different job descriptions and the things that go on around here. Because we're a really diversified group of people. So the other one that you guys will have to probably look at as a policy decision or something to think about is salaried people. I mean, I guess I know I just clock in, clock out just like everyone else. And a lot of them do. Some are resisting that are salaried. And I'm not talking elected, I'm talking salaried.
Right.
Department heads and stuff. So you'll have to make a determination that if you want them to punch in, punch out, or whatever to show they were there for the day, whether it was vacation or actual salaried hours or whatever.
Sure.
Because there's some that say, well, I'm salaried, so it don't matter, and they don't want to take the time, but I think we should have a uniform.
Well, how
across the
easy
board.
is it when a lot of those folks are going to meetings out and about in the community? Let's say you're supposed to clock in at 8 and you have an 8 o'clock at U.S. Bank, or you're
Oh,
going
and they can adjust that. I mean, that's
you can
pretty
do that
easy,
on your
yes.
computer when you get
Yes.
back? You just
If you
say-
have, the employee can't, but the managers can. So,
Is there a manager in every department, or is it a manager in
There's
each
a
job?
manager in every department that handles the payroll. I think yours is Kathy, isn't it?
Well, I'm the ultimate.
Yeah, and you're the ultimate. But
I do all the approvals.
Right. And Kathy,
Yeah.
Kathy
So
does
they
the
do,
basic.
the manager, the department head
So,
is approving payroll.
yeah. See,
So they'd be
I do the
approving their
adjusting in
own
our
changes.
department because I'm the department head, and ultimately I'm the one signing off saying this is all correct, so I'm the one liable. So that's generally the way it is. But odds are the salaried one is the department head.
So what are the salary ones doing now? Are they just coming and going and
I
not
just
doing any clock-in or
I
any
just-
kind of paperwork or anything?
That'd be a Gary question more than I don't know.
That some are, and that's that consistency thing again too. Is just like with timesheets.
Legislative audits, they have said for years that everyone tracks their time except elections.
But that's not the way the policy reads. 4-hour blocks, and we've had this discussion before, is that we're not required to go to the minute like everybody
No,
else.
no.
And that's been an ongoing discussion with a lot of people here, is that there seems to be this thought process that employees feel like that the manager should be going minute by minute.
No,
That's not the way it reads.
That's not what I said, and that's not what audit said. It's just that they have to have some kind of,
Yeah.
and this will take care of that because they'll have a time card.
And that's been in there, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's 4-hour blocks, that's what's always been said, but anything beyond that is not what's required.
And the only thing I'm asking is, you guys are the policymakers, so you'll have to make that ultimate decision to, one way or the other, make some consistency,
Yeah.
So like if you have a meeting in the morning, you can go in and say 8 to noon.
You
and
can
then
create a punch, yeah.
Because you have a lot of meetings at night. I mean,
Yep.
We also have a thing that we built in that is called normal leave or regular leave, which is if you're off at your conference for a week, you just put it in as regular hours leave, so it doesn't come out of your vacation balance. It comes as regular pay, but you're not worried about punching in and out. So we've created that for those type of situations.
So there's just like a default that you click in, so
Defaultness.
it'll do it for you.
It's regular hours. It's a leave called regular hours.
Huh.
So if you're at a conference for a week or 2 weeks or pay, the end of a pay period or whatever, you're covered. You don't have to worry about it.
And that's some of the issue that people have had. I mean, if they choose not to, like if I go to the Heckler meeting at night and I don't put it on if I put it on my time card or don't put it on, I don't get paid either way, so it doesn't matter. But so that's been their argument, and their concern is that if they just work 8 to 5, what difference does it make? But
So the same token, if they take a vacation,
that they would have to vacation.
but
and
if
sick
they don't
leave.
write it down, how would
Yeah.
anybody know if they took the day of vacation or not? I mean, they
Well,
could
yeah,
they
that's-
could
and they
actually
have.
not show up and
Yeah, no, that's been, they are required to mark their vacation and sick leave
so
time.
we really need someone to write up something that we can review and look at
Policy.
for policy.
I think that would be an HR
Yeah,
thing.
we
but,
can certainly work.
if
Yeah.
not, we can sure do it.
I think you might have done one before that we looked at,
Yeah.
if I remember right.
I think if we keep it consistent, it's just going to make
Yeah.
it long-term better for everybody.
Well, then it's there in black and white.
Yeah, it's the typical thing that
Yeah.
some
There's always
worry
exceptions.
about it and others don't.
And there's always exceptions, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think that's all comes from you guys. So, other than that, that's kind of where we're at with Sundial at the moment.
Sounds good. And you're going to get us on the list to
Yep.
add your state's attorney to be the next guinea pig.
We started on state's attorney on the dock management yesterday. I would think by next week their intern's going to be pumping some scans into it, and we're just setting up the preliminary stuff today. We started yesterday afternoon. We get with Larry and his group, and they're pretty excited to get going on it. We're going to try some pretty old stuff with a lot of handwriting in it, so we're going to start with the hard stuff first.
We've completely run out of storage space, and so we got to start converting it to electronic stuff and clear off some shelves.
I'll stop having cases.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then probably give me a list of what you want, and we'll get you guys going. We'll get back to the vouchers. I know they've been busy with elections, we've been busy with the jail and everything else, so it's just sitting down to get that voucher process. So when Max's office and my office catch up a little bit, we'll sit down and start getting back on that. We're
biggest
just
thing
about
we
done
want-
with the help desk on it, so.
The biggest thing we want to start with is having the online access to the contracts. Your fair contracts, your stuff that we always want to refer to. And
You wanna
always have
separate
email
them
it to us
by-
again.
Yeah, that
Fair year,
We can do it all?
and do whatever you want.
Okay. thank
How about
you.
hardware in the courthouse? How we doing there? Everybody's good on printers and phones?
Yeah, I'm
and
just going
nothing
through,
new?
and I have not even started on my budget. I haven't had time, but
Okay.
been going through the other departments, and I think we're really good on computers, and I really, if we don't need to replace any next year, I don't want to, because the year after we'll be going to Windows 10, and then we'll have to see a fair amount more going to get replaced at that time. But we're not, we're a year away from going to 10, so kind of if we can get them through the year on their current hardware, that's what we're pushing for. Trying not to, put a new machine in, then we got to convert it to 10 the next year. Just kind of do a sweep at once. Not all of them will be replaced when we go to 10, but there's a fair amount that are at that age group. Next year they will get replaced, going to 10. So printers, yes, we're working on the RFP for the managed print services. So, and then 3 companies are going to come in and do evaluation on what printers we have, where they're at, and do we need 5 printers here or do we need 1? Give us those recommendations on the new managed print service. Whichever way we get the proposals together and get that done for you. Because we're about up on the other one, and they're a big change. We've had a few hiccups in that lately, but I think we're back to level for now. So,
All right.
but I think we're to the point where we need to really look at our printers, period, as far as, geez, do we need quite so many, or, it's all, how can we save money? That's a big chunk of money every year is printing costs. Speaking of printers, we need to get 2 copiers for the jail in this remodel. Right now, we're a little early, but right now, all the schools are letting out and all their off leases are coming up, and they're a pretty good deal. I got, a couple off leasers. Everyone's so happy with these Kyoceras that got a proposal for 2 of them, because one will go down, one will stay up. And they're $42.88 a piece, and the standard list price on them is $67. So we're saving like $2,400 when we buy these off lease. They're low copy amounts, and with the off leases, they're giving us a 5-year, just like the one we bought for the registered deeds office. 5-year, any issues, they'll just replace it, and we can't get that on the new one. So most of these are 100K or less copies, so they're all rated over millions. So a lot of good years of service. So, and I know welfare is looking for one and fair is looking for one, but I just thought, I'd bring it up if we want to take advantage of saving some money this time of the year compared to wait until fall and buy new ones at 67.
Is that the only quote you got?
Those are
Just off. These are off lease. I haven't quoted new ones yet.
these are going to the jail.
These 2 would go to the jail.
What is the jail currently using?
They've got one old cannon that's about on its last leg. Well, we just, they wanted to replace it earlier, and I said, well, not until remodel's over, because it's going to get full of dust and dirt. And
So they're going from 1 to 2?
Yeah,
They got
because-
2 different units.
because they have the office upstairs, and then the control room, the booking downstairs, which is where all the faxes will go and that type of stuff.
Is there any other company that would do off lease?
I can check.
Yeah,
but,
just so we have,
Yep.
don't have an argument.
And I figured if we were going to go new, we'd wait till the right time. So I just thought I'd bring this up. I know Cliff's struggling with that Samsung he's got over there. They just put a different one in, and it's worse than the one they took out. So
Well, and I like Kyocera's, but I mean, that's
the
not saying
scanning
that-
capabilities on the Kyocera are really great with our
Really good.
program.
Seems like we're buying a lot of copiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone needs them nowadays for the scanning ability as
No,
much
it's-
as
We're buying them for scanners more than
Yeah.
the actual printed side of them.
Is that 6,700 when they're new?
That's new. Yep. And they gave us the same price whether we wanted color or black and white. Which I discourage the colors if they don't need them because their per page cost is higher. So,
some of them want to use it for their letterhead,
yeah.
and that's really not,
As we go more towards electronic, we're going to do less printing. So that's why it's kind of critical in this RFP for the managed print service that we take all that into account because, there's a point where the larger printer, and I can leave this up with you, that's not a problem.
Is there a time frame on that as far as do we have to make a
They'll
decision?
come and go, but I'm sure we have a few weeks,
I just like to make sure that our bases, being we have that $2,500 limit, you know.
Yep, and that's why I just thought I'd bring it up, see if we wanted, how we wanted to pursue that, if we wanted to possibly save, you know, the 2,500 per machine now,
I
or
think
just
it's
wait.
good savings.
So, you know, I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and you know, it'd be great if we could get rid of about 90% of printers we have. We'll really save money, but I don't think we're there yet, but we'll get close.
Yeah, let us know if you find anything else. Other
Okay, and
brands.
I'll check with the other
If not,
companies in town, and we'll see if we can get anything comparable, and then,
So those are local? Or that were those in the school here?
I don't know, I
They
guess.
don't- when you
It
get on,
didn't
you
specify
can't
where
tell.
they were coming from. No, the one in the deeds office came from Pier,
Okay.
so. But I mean, they're local to South Dakota, I know
Sure.
that, so. Other than that, I think that's all I had.
Sounds good. Any questions for Paul? Well, we appreciate the update. A lot of good
Other
information.
than the jails going forward, we're cabling today, so
Okay.
hopefully we'll have that all done.
A lot of information in 10 minutes.
You just wanted to beat Dirk for one day.
I want Dirk to wait for me just one time. I kept thinking, what else can I talk about? Make Dirk wait 5 more minutes, so. All right.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Thanks, Paul.
Next on the agenda,
Sorry, man.
Dirk Rogers.
No worries.
ESSC
Howdy.
permit.
It's just, it's a package.
All I've got is that permit that I didn't let anybody see last week. So I heard back from Dwayne, he's the only one, and I didn't know if anyone else had
You were good.
had considered.
It was 30 feet at the lowest point, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know anything that that's...
So it's the same.
I can't hear. You didn't have any concerns over that line crossing permit?
So I just.
okay, so this,
So, unless you guys have some other reason, I'll sign it here. and I need a witness. Somebody
We're
watch.
all witnesses.
Somebody watch.
Okay, start over.
Line crossing.
This is the same line crossing permit that I brought in last week, but I hadn't let anybody see it before, so. And so unless anyone has objections to it or concerns, and like Rachel said, it's 30 foot at its lowest point. I don't have any other reason to not approve it, so. The only other comment I'd have would be, I didn't see the necessity for us to create our own line crossing permit. You know, we have 2 major transmission lines that come through the county, and this is obviously one of them, but I don't think we need to create a whole nother.
Does that say how high they have to be, or?
It refers to the plans, and in the plans it shows what they are, so.
All right, anybody have questions, problems? If not, I'd entertain a motion to go ahead and approve it. Moved by Feldman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hanson, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for bringing that back. And
That's all I have, unless you guys.
My neighbors are feeling a little better out, they saw leads out there.
Yeah, I suppose. They're going kind of slow, and they're doing it kind of weird, but,
They thought that was gonna be it.
Yeah.
Remember you said
Yep.
that? Yeah.
well, and I didn't warn anybody up at Frederick where we did the same thing. And one guy called in and said, if that's how you're gonna leave that damn thing, I just wish you'd have left the road the way it was.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
paving up there.
they were cussing me for a couple weeks, and now I'm better again.
Okay, good. No, it's coming out pretty nice. I was down there yesterday, so. They're only working on it a couple days a week so they can do their other stuff, so it'll be a little longer than I
Hey,
would
sign up there if they
expected.
want to thank me and put my phone number, will you?
Okay. I don't know, even if it's good, I don't know if I'd hang my phone number out there.
Probably not.
All right, unless you guys have anything else, I'm gonna mosey.
good. Thank you much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dirk. You bet.
All right, that's the end of the regular agenda. Let's go to Max's stuff.
okay, the minutes from the general and the joint Aberdeen City County meeting and the joint Marshall County, Brown County meetings, all held May 31st.
Let that go up there.
It was good. It was good. They had a good turnout. There's probably 40 people there.
Well, they don't have much for entertainment up that way, so I suppose.
And they were all proponents. By the time the proponents got done, if there was any opponents in the crowd, they weren't getting up.
They hadn't drank enough to say they had twice.
Is there a motion on that?
Move it.
Moved by Feldheim.
Second.
Second by Hanson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Second.
Whatever.
Moved by Fishback, seconded by Hanson. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Acknowledge a disinterment permit.
Move.
Moved by Hanson,
Second.
seconded by Feldheim. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The last township bond for West Rondell came in. That's for their clerk and their township. And their
Is that late? Was it supposed to be in earlier?
Yeah.
That's my neighbors. I'll move it.
Moved by Fishback,
Second.
seconded by Hanson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
You guys have only been on the board for 40 years. Get it right.
Just getting into the process.
Can we set the primary election canvass for 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 9th? I would need 3,
This Thursday?
This Thursday. At what time?
4.
4 p.m. How many you need?
4?
We can do it earlier if that works. I mean, it's up to you what time.
If you can do it earlier
I'm
in
okay
the morning.
Thursday, so.
Really,
The jail
anytime.
meeting's
As
at
long
10,
as
so
it's
somebody
beginning
could
of the
hit it
day
in
or the
conjunction
end of
with
the
that.
day, I can be back.
What'd you say, Rachel?
The jail meeting's usually at 10, right? And that works.
Construction meeting, yeah.
Do it at
We could do it at 9.
Would
Can we do it at 9? That'd be wonderful.
9 o'clock Thursday.
Okay.
Right
Can
here?
do that.
Yep.
Okay.
So it'll be the 4 of you, or no, you're going to be gone.
No, I'll be here.
I'll be
Oh.
here.
9 a.m. I can be here.
It's up to you.
I can be, but tell me what it's for. I guess this is my
This
first
is
time.
canvas to go through the election results from today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can pick rock, scissors on jail.
It's Thursday the 9th, right?
Yep.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to know the count so far?
Yeah, what is it?
Be right back.
12?
Are we using
There's more than
There's been more
12.
than
Are
that.
we using the machines? Did you find out? We're not using the machines?
Fine.
I can ask.
I got airport. I was at airport last Tuesday too, because they had a special meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen an election where I've been less enthused about going to vote, I'll tell you.
The 9th is going to be their regular
Regular
meeting,
one.
so.
And that's at 9. 11.
Okay.
So you'll have a whole county morning.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of them.
563 have visited the vote centers so far this morning.
Okay,
Which is
we're
more than
using
12.
machines or we're not? 'Cause
Oh,
use
the e-poll
paper.
books? Yeah.
How come I got a paper ballot?
They're all paper
They're all
ballots.
paper.
We've always had paper
Okay.
ballots.
The check-in
Yeah,
is on the e-poll books.
Yep.
You don't have your...
You still have
Yeah.
that going today?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Same thing, all the vote centers are like...
What's in my
Okay.
driver's license?
3 in Aberdeen and
Yeah,
8 out of the
yeah,
rural.
yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion on the canvas to set that?
No.
Okay.
9 o'clock Thursday morning.
9
Okay.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Got it.
What I'm doing now that I can see how many are voting throughout the day, I just have my cheat sheet with well, I started at 9:20,
Uh-huh.
and then 10, I'll do 11, and then noon, and then this afternoon I'll start doing half-hour increments, just get a...
You got a comparison to other
You mean
years
for
yet?
counts? You're talking to see where you're
how
at?
many have voted?
How
Can
many?
you tell by parties too, or?
No,
How many were
just-
absentee?
931 were processed, and then today, authorized messengers may, if someone is ill or something.
I'm guessing the local Republican primary is probably bringing more people out than anything, I would guess.
So,
Yeah, it's hard telling.
all right.
Okay, authorized advertising ordinance number 101, and it's the use and operation of drones.
Did everybody get that? Okay. Motion by Hanson,
Second.
seconded by Fishback. Was there any questions or concerns on the drone ordinance? Larry,
See
was
how
there
it
any-
goes, we'll have to...
Was there anything that garnered a lot of conversation that you weren't sure on, or was it pretty cut and dry?
We started with the kind of the basic city one, so we can keep the definitions similar and some of the policy similar. And then modified it for, more rural open spaces. For example, the city, you can't operate from sunset to sunrise. Here, under the county one, proposed county one, you could if it's over your own property. And there's some other things like that too. Where over your own property, you have more latitude. Other than that, I think I think that some of the different departments wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be restricted in how they did their jobs, and we got those sorts of things resolved.
Okay, if there's one flying over your property, low, can you shoot it down?
We should put that in there, don't you think?
I think they're good target practice.
If it falls with one of the things that would violate the ordinance, if they're doing surveillance, that's forbidden. If they're interfering with your use of your land and property, which includes your airspace, that's forbidden. So there's some things
How
to
you gonna
protect.
know who it is?
Yeah, that's my question. How do you know whose drone it is
That's
unless you
the
take
Probably
it
should have
down?
the crop adjuster that's out checking your field. You'll blow his phone out
I think
there.
it'd be
He
H1
treats it
from-
very well.
I don't know how far they fly.
They should be telling you though.
But it's basically just kind of straightforward. This is new territory.
Shoot it,
Yeah.
Tom, and
And
figure out if you go.
doing the research, I didn't see anything where the state even has anything on drones. I looked up drone in the state statute. It talked about the companion of honeybees. I mean, that's all there was in there. So
Sure.
This is just the beginning of the drone
Yeah,
thing.
it's-
yeah.
Pretty soon everybody's got a one.
Yeah, and we can always
And frankly,
get when
this
we need to.
this allows a little flexibility too, because I can remember back when computers first came into government offices, and it was luxury, and the internet, you could have special permission for that, and email, and now you can't live without it, and a lot of times now we're going to see, I think, different departments using drones all the time for different purposes, and so this allows that kind of flexibility.
Yeah, I'm guessing this will have to be changed someday. The things come up we're
Yep.
aware of now. So we'll start there and see how it goes.
Exactly.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'd move it.
All right. Moved by Fishbeck,
Second.
second by Feldheim. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I had written down Hanson and Fishback.
Okay,
Okay.
minus the last one.
Okay. And this is just to advertise it.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, authorizing advertising bid for the installation of the LED light fixtures in the shop/garage buildings. You approved the quotes for the fixtures last week, but we need to actually bid the installation of them.
Move it.
Moved by Feldheim.
Second.
Second by Fishbeck. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreement, Aberdeen Area Horsemen's Association.
Moved by Hanson.
Second.
Second by Feldheim. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Acknowledge the payroll audit.
Move it.
Moved by Fishbeck.
Second.
Second by Hanson. Any other questions? I won't say who it was. Somebody was forgetting to do time cards in there, so I'm glad we do those audits. Everybody's on board now. We're good. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, auditor's report of account.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Feldheim, seconded by Hanson. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Thanks.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Way to go.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Gary, what do you got for us?
I extracted county site analysis data, so I do have some little maps here if anybody wants one. But,
I do.
Okay. But so that's all done, and then we have a GIS layer for it. A lot easier to read and stuff now, so we can make. And I made a bigger map that'll go out to the Aberdeen Development Corps. So. And then I just need a quick exec for personnel.
Larry would like one too. For
Yeah, we need to add legal contract to that too.
All right, I
Trifecta.
entertain a motion to
We'll
go
do
into
both at
exec
once.
for personnel and legal contracts.
Move.
Moved by Feldheim, second. Everybody wants it on that action.
I don't
Seconded
care.
by Hanson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Now what's that? What is that, a map?
We are back in session. We have one item. I would entertain a motion to authorize the state's attorney to contact our legal counsel on the centrally assessed property and authorize them to go ahead and send us monthly billing.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
I
I don't have to go to Columbia now.
State's Attorney Leveren is going to contact our legal counsel when it comes to the centrally assessed property issue that we're dealing with, and we've authorized him to go ahead and have him bill us monthly, or have them bill us monthly.
I'll move it.
Moved by Hanson,
Second.
Seconded by Feldheim. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Is there anything else that we are missing? Anything come up while we were in? Is that okay? Anything from the folks in attendance today? From the commissioners? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Fishback, seconded by Feldheim. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for your attendance.